What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday at 7 p.m. It is election day. I hope you got out there and voted. We're going to see what goes on with the democratic process. I'm Ty, and we're going to switch it over to Matt Johnson real quick.
What it do? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Triple Vet Podcast. Super excited to talk to our guests today. But first, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Becky. Hope you and Sierra are doing good. And good old San Antonio, partying, having a good time, probably. And just like Ty said, hope you voted, and we'll see how it works out. On to our man, Blake.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Royalty and the place to be. This is a Triple Threat Bet Podcast. We're in the building. It's time to do what we do. So I'm going to go ahead, without further ado, bring the guys in so we can get this thing started. What's going on, fellas?
Oh, you know, just another day.
Another election day in America.
I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah.
That way I can start watching regular shit on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, this is crazy, but it is what it's going to be.
Oh, shout.
What's up, Bob Mayer? I see you in the comments there. Thanks for watching, brother.
Yeah. So what's y'all's week been like? How'd it go for y'all this week? Good?
I just got back from San Antonio, man, not too long ago. I had to go up there and take care of some real estate business and then come right back. So I made a quick run up this morning. It was raining like cast dog frog.
Done that multiple times.
Yeah. It was raining crazy this morning.
Yeah, it was.
And got through that, got to San Antonio, looked like it never rained. And then on the way back, I got back and it looked like it never rained. That's Houston.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully the ends are worth the means, you know, kind of get that paycheck, bro. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Gotta take care of your folks, man.
There you go.
I got to hang out all weekend with my grandson and, watch football. And then, my wife and son went to a Taylor Swift concert up in, they went to the Taylor Swift concert, yeah.
Nah. Nothing wrong with a little
ticket. They went to it. Did they win the tickets or did they actually buy them?
Oh, yeah, they won them.
I was going to say. That's probably the only way I'd go to a Taylor Swift concert. I have to win those bitches. Those things are
that's too much. You just go on there to Taylor Swift concert just on GP, then your pocket's just fat, man. Yeah. I saw you. I seen it. Was it your nephew, grandson?
Say that. That's on my bad.
You said you was with your grandson, nephew? I saw
grandson all weekend. Got to hang out with the grandson.
That was pretty cool, man. Handsome little fella. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot going on in the world today, but as always, we're here to talk to an interesting individual about service and service after service, and I think we should just jump right into it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, today we got Ben Monnette coming on. He is a former Special Forces Green Beret, Ranger, combat diver, combat dive supervisor, and did all kinds of things in the military. And now when he's getting out, he's going to be talking about treehouse recovery and the long road to recovery. So let's bring on Ben Monnette.
Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing?
Good.
Ben?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Ben. We appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'm jealous of the Houston travels throughout Texas. But the weather was good here in Nashville, so I can't complain.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you're going in Texas because everything's 15 minutes away, but it takes 2 hours to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's the truth.
I'm sure everybody says that in every city, though, right? They have to.
Yeah, I'm seeing it in Nashville. It's kind of getting a little chaotic. But
it's all the states that are the coolest. A lot of stuff to do. People are laid back, so people are going to leave from where they thought was paradise and move inward, right? It just seems like the shore and the coast is no longer the paradise that you want to be in now. It's like being in a place where there's good people, lots of land, things to do,
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some data that says there's a good amount of people moving to Nashville from California.
Yeah.
And same with Texas.
Right? Yeah.
They're coming to you guys now. You're welcome.
You guys can have it.
Look, is Nashville home though? Is Nashville home? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Born and raised.
No, Dayton, Ohio is home. So I grew up in Ohio, up north. and just moved a little bit south. That was the reason why I wanted to pick 5th Special Forces Group, just to the proximity of my family, and I know they're doing good things in the Middle East. So
Nice.
just it was a win-win for me.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue. So normally what we like to do here, Ben, is we like to get to know everybody and go through a little bit of their history before we talk about what they're doing going into the future. Because often what you did in the past does really, truly set you up for what you're going to do in the future, right? You learn things and you go through things. So if you don't mind, I mean, we started off, you're from Dayton, Ohio, but what was it like growing up in Dayton, Ohio? What kind of things did you do growing up? And ultimately, what led to your decision to join the Army?
Yeah, absolutely. Not really much is going on in Dayton, Ohio, to be honest with you. However, I grew up in an amazing family. There was nothing, a loving mother, father, an older sister, and they always supported in any endeavor that I wanted to pursue. Early on in my childhood, I gravitated towards soccer, and that was just the thing. I gravitated towards it, and I stuck with it, and that took up most of my effort and time, but it paid off, right? I played throughout high school, and then I got a Division I college soccer scholarship for Bowling Green State University, right on the Ohio-Michigan border, to play. So that was my real first extended exposure to a team environment, being a part of something greater than yourself and accomplishing something that you can't accomplish without a team. And that was amazing. And that was one of the reasons why I believe I thrived in the military, because of my understanding of the team dynamics. And played, so up in college, up in Bowling Green State University, played for 3 years. And I soon realized I wasn't Messi or David Beckham anymore, so I was not going to play soccer for the rest of my life, and I needed to get real and figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, most kids in America, irregardless, think they were Messi and Beckham, because there's no offense to all the American football players, but there's not many people in America you can emulate from that, right? And it's not like England and France and Spain were knocking on the door, because I played soccer growing up too, and it's like, could go to college, but like, am I going to do that forever? There's really not like back then anyway, there wasn't a pathway to going, this is what you can do. So,
and I think it's expanded. The path is there. It's just a little bit more difficult, and it just wasn't me. So I transferred to the University of Dayton back home, and I later graduated with a communication management degree, and off to corporate America I went, and that's what I thought I was going to do. I had an outside sales position, enjoyed it, I guess, for a little bit, and then soon got bored. And growing up, I was always patriotic. My grandfather served, and I knew of special operations. And one day I was just fed up, and I was like, all right, I got to do better. I got to do something with my life. Where can I reach my potential, and where can I see how far I can push that potential? And how the recruiting stations are all lined up. I went to the Army and left there with either a OCS contract or a Special Forces recruit contract. And went home, did some soul searching, some praying, some talking to family and friends. And 3 weeks later, I was off to basic training down in Fort Benning, Georgia, for a Special Forces contract. So it was rather quick, but it was, after that, it was just like, it was off to the races, no looking back. It was, and that was the mentality that allowed me to be successful. However, that was also the mentality that also led me to significant struggles as well.
Yeah. So with a college degree, going into a recruiting station, what made you decide to go the enlisted route versus the officer route?
I had control over my destiny.
Yeah,
I wanted to know.
In that special operations community, that's normally what people say, right? Like,
absolutely. And being an officer may have turned out different, but I didn't get to choose what branch I went to, and that just didn't sit right for me. If I was going to pass a course or fail a course, I wanted it to be, on something that I could affect, and that just it didn't sit right. And I'm glad I chose that decision. But yeah, that was a difficult decision. But once I said, "Hey, this is what I want to do," he's like, "All right, you're leaving in a couple of days," and I was like, "Okay, here we go." But I had the maturity. I was older, right? Graduating college, I knew what I was getting into. So basic training wasn't as much as a mental. It wasn't as mentally taxing as I would have been if I didn't have the maturity and that experience, the life experience that I developed, through college, and then half a year working as an outside sales representative.
I would imagine your time playing soccer and on teams in college and going through the process to go to college, either way at a Division I level, also prepared you a lot for that, right? Having to kind of like fit in where you needed to be, but then also waiting for your moments to shine and stuff like that. So I think you said it right in the beginning where you were like, that was your first introduction. Going into the military was probably just a pretty, I'm not going to say it was an easy transition, but more seamless than it would have been for other people.
Yeah, like I knew the team dynamic and how important and how powerful we were together, right? And everyone, strengths and weaknesses, everyone has them, and how can we, offset those as a team collectively? So that was, I never really looked at it like that, but it makes sense. Is like early on that the college team was probably the closest. And moving into that, the new team was basic training, and that was an easy transition. The next team was, airborne school, and then the next one after that was, SFAS, and that was a interesting time. Let's just put it that way. I went to the 2-week portion of it, and I discovered a mentality, and this mentality was they cannot take time away from me, right? They can take anything from me. They can take my dignity, my soul. Like they could do all types of things. I can roll left, roll right, do millions of push-ups, but at some time that has to end. And I kept using that mentality throughout these difficult trainings that I went and experienced, and it served me well. Knowing that, it just allowed me to not be affected by instructors trying to see if you're mentally weak or not. And that was something that I enjoyed. I never thought about it during the time, but after I was able to reflect and digest what I accomplished way, too long afterwards, I really knew that that's how I approached these difficult schools. And I was able to handle and be a little bit more calm when they were playing those tactics to increase your mental anxiety, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So you said your first school was airborne, right? So when you get there, what is it like to go to that school? DJ and myself, we were in the Navy, so we obviously never went to jump school. We weren't in a career path in the Navy that allows us to do that. I know Ty knows all about it, but we do have a lot of people that listen that may not know. But for you, like, what was it like? The first day, what was it like getting there, and how much different was that school coming out of boot camp, right? Like at some point, did you have a hard transition like to that one? I'm sure you had it eventually, but like, how was the transition and what was like going through?
Absolutely. So I was in a unique pathway or trajectory where right after basic training, I inserted right into airborne school. So I didn't have to travel. I didn't have to do anything. And I was already in that mentality of boot camp, I guess the boot camp mentality. So it was just an extension of basic training for me. Although I dislike jumping out of airplanes, I think I would much rather be 100 feet underwater, on an open circuit or 20 feet on a closed circuit than anywhere up in the air ready to jump out. That was just not my thing.
I was totally going to ask you, what about you made you want to get in an airplane that has a perfectly good seat? It's getting where it's got to go. And you're like, I think I'm going to jump out of this. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
This whole line of questioning is hilarious to me coming from the Navy guys. Like every time we start talking about some of these schools, like I went to airborne school, went to air assault school. I didn't do any of that SF stuff, but like the Navy guys, they don't have any idea about some of the schools that we get to do. And then I hear them talking about some of the leadership and some of the schools they did. Like every one of them learns everything on a boat. So we don't know any idea about some of the shit they do. However, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's funny. Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. I don't know. Towards the end, like I think I have like 38 jumps or something. Towards the end, it got a little fun, but also I got older, so it hurt. The ground hurt more. So it was like it was cool. It was more fun to leave the aircraft as I got more reps, but it hurt worse when I landed. So
So what was your first jump like? How walk us through that experience, right? You do this training, you go through all that stuff, and I mean, everybody has a different story on their first jump, but what was yours like?
Give it line by line from inboard personnel. Stand up. There you go. No, just go ahead, brother.
I made damn sure that my harness, all the latches were good about 25 times before I exited that plane. But once I left, it was like kind of like I just held my breath and the chaos happened. And next thing I know, there's an opening jolt and I'm floating down to the earth. But once that happened and I got all the twists and tangles and all that shit together, it was pretty surreal, just being up there, floating down, not, just kind of looking around and seeing Fort Benning from, 800-900 feet in the air. It was it's pretty cool. So the experience was great. Is it applicable? No. Do I think airborne, I don't necessarily see the value in it nowadays. And I think there could be other things transitioning to that could lead these new warfighters into a more successful career. But nonetheless, it's a fun thing to do. It's a good, cool thing to have. But that was fun. That was a lot of running. But again, I was up in shape and I just came back from, soccer is my career, right? And then coming into basic training, like I was physically fit. And I think I was mentally fit. And then, SFAS was difficult, right? Same mindset for me is you can't take time away from me. So when I'm in the pit rolling around and walking enormous amounts of miles with heavy weight and land navigation, it was just, I was able to stay a little bit more calm. Most importantly, it's when I was able to stay calm when they would play the techniques. Do you want to be here? Or you're not doing very well. Do you still want to be here? Like the never give up. Mm-hmm. They would always give us an opportunity to quit. And I never quit. Whether or not I was just too dumb to quit or I wanted something, I don't know. But that was just a thing where air assault is funner. Bob, I probably agree with you. I've not been to air assault school, but air assault, I do like fast roping, so that would be fun. Being at Fort Campbell for so long, I'm surprised why I didn't try to pursue air assault. However, nonetheless, here I am now. But I went to the selection that was 2 weeks. So it was quick. There was a lot more to do, but it was quick, right? It was a quick burn. And then once getting selected, that was when it was kind of like it was time to work. The marathon started, right?
And so what year did you join? Sorry,
so
what year?
January of 2008.
2008. Okay. Mm-hmm. So once you get done with the 2-week course, and where did you go after that? What was the unit you reported to?
I stayed at now Fort Liberty, back then Fort Bragg, for a year and a half for all my we call it the Q course. So it's basically all the schools. So you had small unit tactics, and then you had language school, and then you had your MOS school, so your specialty, and then you have a culmination exercise. And then within there, you had SEER, survival, evade, resist, escape school as well. So all those schools were locally based out of Fort Bragg at Camp McCall. So although getting selected was great and it was a very momentum, I gained a lot of momentum. However, I knew I wasn't there yet. I did not have my beret. I was just selected to enter the course, and that was merely it. And then that's why I say the marathon is you weren't going to pass the Q course in a day. It takes extended amounts of time, and you had to be versatile. You had to physically, in small unit tactics, you had to be able to learn that, but also you were able to, the next month you had to go in a academic setting and learn a language. So you really were just diversifying different things throughout the course to make a more well-rounded SF soldier.
And so how many people started out with you in your selection and how many ended? How many actually?
I want to say, so I think it was 32%, 300 people were there. So roughly around that 30% is the standard. Normally what happens, we had a lot of people quit in SFAS, but a lot of people just didn't make it through the Q course, where it could be injury, it could be mentally, it could be performance-based. Leadership, they definitely place a high importance on leadership, and that, sometimes individuals that are coming right out of civilian life into that role, it takes a little bit more time to understand the small unit tactics and the military lifestyle versus someone who is coming from 101st, 82nd, or had some time in the regular service to learn it and develop a little bit more of the military mentality.
And so while you were going through, did you gravitate towards those guys that came from an already established mentality to learn from them? Or do you feel like they were I don't know, would you call it the standard? You're like, oh, I need to kind of learn what they're doing. Or were you more gravitated towards the guys like you trying to make it through?
Yeah.
Or just coming in,
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of a healthy a mixture of both. I understood that, and I was humble enough to know that I didn't know anything. Right? I knew basic 11 Bravo basic tasks through basic training, but I didn't know much. So I really paid a lot of attention and was a sponge when I needed to be a sponge, but also a leader when I needed to be a leader. And I know that a strong leader is able to, follow, right? Sometimes a strong leader is that person in the back following another person taking charge. And and they put your teams in situations like that where you are not the leader. You may be an expert at this, but you're not a leader. So how do you follow? And how do you follow directions from someone who is in the leadership position? So that was a plus. That helped me being that sponge, and then it helped me returning or coming to an SF unit as being that sponge, knowing that I have some skills, but I knew very little of what a team life is, or what was being accomplished on a day-to-day basis. So coming in, and I got to group in 2011, right? 2011-ish. Yeah, 2011, 2012. And I was still at that military was still at that raw stage of, you're new, sit in the corner, shut up, listen, and that's it. Right?
Yeah.
And now it's gotten a little bit more relaxed, right? We need to adapt to our society, and we may or may not be doing a good job at that. But back then, that's how it was, and I understood it, and I was like, okay, I'm learning. This is receive mode, and when I need to, voice up about my expertise, I will. But at this point, I just need to learn as much as I can and to develop into the type of person I wanted to become.
So that's an interesting point you just made there. If you don't mind, I'd like to stick there for a minute. So what is your opinion? Do you feel like the way that you came in, sit in the corner and watch, we're going to train and we're going to develop you, and you're going to learn by watch, and then we're going to throw you in? So it was a lot of repetition and hurry up and wait to get where you needed to be. So obviously now they've changed things where you can't just like throw people in the corner just to single them out because that's bad. What's your opinion on that? Which do you feel that way is better? Because we've heard a lot of people on our podcast. We've talked to a lot of people at numerous veteran events that kind of feel, and I don't know, I guess I'm in this corner too, where I feel like when you don't have the people sit down, sit in the corner, wait, learn, train, when you get into that moment where you need them to do something, we're just like crossing our fingers and we walk through that door or into that alleyway, or you know what I mean? Like, how do you feel it's going now that they've changed it? And do you prefer it to be the other way, or are you okay with a mixture of both?
Yeah, I think I would say I'm okay with a mixture of both. You have to tactfully do that, right? I've had leaders that say, shut up, sit in the corner, don't say a thing, restock the fridge with beer, blah, 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 blah. And then you had other leaders said, okay, sit over here, I'm going to teach you.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's two different types of leaders in that domain. I think that what we may be lacking, or some individuals may be lacking, is right, wrong, or indifferent. Our society has changed, right? You can't change that back. That's how it is. What can we, and then for me, my opinion as a leader, you need to be able to adapt to that, and you need to be able to change. Don't change your core values or the core mission, but change how you get there. And I think, yeah, it was fun and it was awesome and I enjoyed that, but now it's different. And guess what? You make changes, continue to improve, be the best you can be. So yeah, I don't know where it's going to go to, right? That's a scary thing, is at what point do we say enough's enough and go back, or do we say, hey, we have to make a change because there's our retention, our recruiting is not near where we want it to be. What do we have to do to change it? That's not, and we can't neglect and forget about our core values and our traditions.
For sure.
So that's interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the Pentagon, because the alarm sounds are going off. There's like, hey, we're in a law. You can't argue with history. Conflict will happen again. We will be involved in conflict again. When, I don't know, but we have to be proactive now instead of reactive. Historically, we've been mostly reactive, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, me and Scott came up in the Navy, like we were talking about differences in services before. In the Navy, once you make chief, you go through initiation, selection, transition, induction, whatever fucking name they're calling it nowadays. But it's like a training program to go from being that E6 into like a senior enlisted, to be that middleman in the Navy between junior enlisted, junior officers and above. And so what you find is, way back in the day, the version of sit in the corner and listen was a lot of just bullshit. It didn't matter. It didn't make any difference. It was kind of like the first version you explained of like, hey, go sit in the corner, put beer in the fridge. We want you to talk. We'll like come over there and open your mouth until you can say something. And then as we progress forward, things change, and guys in that older realm feel like, that's not the right direction, because now they can't, and for lack of a better term, haze somebody that's coming in. But what we found is like, hey, you need to really, I like the second part you said is what we like to do, sit in the corner and watch, meaning observe, watch how we do these things, ask questions. If you want to learn how to do it, then learn how to do it. Don't think you already know, because if you think you already know, it's going to be bad. And so like a lot of times in the Navy, we tell new chiefs, so if you just got pinned, I just want you to hear me out real quick for those junior chiefs that still smell like the Navy exchange. The first year is the year you learn. That is the year that you get to really sit back as a member of the Chiefs Mess, and kind of like, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, and now you're a part of you're a part of the crew. That means you have a voice, but you also get to observe now and ask those questions where people aren't going to be like, what are you doing? And so it's like, sit back for the year and watch, because a lot of things become very obvious on why they do them if you sit back and watch. But when you try to jump in and do the things that you've seen people doing in whatever it is, just because now you're allowed to, you oftentimes you get checked real quick and you're like, but I'm here. Like, yeah, you're here, man, but you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? So I think like the mix of, in the corner and wait combined with the training is what's most important. But I think right now we're afraid to tell somebody to go sit in the corner to learn because we don't know what they're going to come back and say about us. And that's unfortunate for, aspects of military leadership in the civilian community, to be honest with you. Like there's so much leading for fear of your job versus leading for mission accomplishment and do the right thing. You know what I mean? Kind of sucks, but like you, I guess we'll see where it goes. I hope it gets good, but you never know.
Yeah, and I think it's on the individual too, right? Is to know where they're at in their environment and have a understanding of, okay, I don't know everything, right? I'm here to learn. So I think there's a healthy mix between the teacher and the student. But yeah, nonetheless, that was something that I excelled at. I was okay with. Maybe because I just kind of I wasn't as sensitive. I don't know. But it kind of, once I got to fifth group, it was off and running. And I, what I like to do and how I kind of able to explain this is I separate my professional and my personal life. Because at one side, right, the professional side, on paper, I was knocking it out of the park, right? 2013, I knew I didn't have the tactical skills and the military leadership I needed to have. So I raised my hand and I was like, hey, I want to go to Ranger School. That was my first and foremost school. Knowing that I was a Special Forces recruit, I needed that more military leadership. And Ranger School is, a great leadership course. And again, use the same mindset of, I had when I went through selection in the Q course. And then after that, that was when it was like off to the races. And when I mean off to the races, it was, what's the next mountain, right? Ranger School complete. Okay. What's the next objective? What do I have? What can I do better or next to enhance my skill set? And that was the mindset that I had for the longest time. It was, 13 was Ranger School. And then I went to an intelligence course. And then I went to dive school, and then dive supervisor school, and then warrant course, and more intel courses, more like strategic planning courses. And then I mixture in there, deployed
Hold on, Ben. You just glossed over dive school. Now, throughout my career, I've always heard that, Ranger School is the absolute best small group leadership school there is in the military. SF teaches you to go anywhere in the world to create an army for yourself, train that army, lead that army, fight that army fights, and then do the after action report on that army's performance of it. Delta does all their things, but fucking scuba and this diver school, this is a difficult school. So, I mean, talk about that. Like, how hard was that to do after jumping out of airplanes, going to Ranger School and running through the jungle, and then now you're diving in the
damn. Let's see. So why did I want to go there? I was comfortable in the water, not comfortable in the air, but comfortable in the water. I wanted to do it. Again, that was that mindset of, what's the next hardest thing to advance my career, my skill set? What can I do to set myself up or set myself apart from peers? And it was 5 weeks is a long time. And it was difficult, but it was also enjoyable. I was older. I was when I was 37. I think I was like 37, 36, 37 years old. So I was a little older. I think I was on a steady dose of naproxen the whole damn time because my knees were hurting so bad. But it was fun because we as a team endured these physical challenges, right? It was, there was some individualized tasks the first week to instill confidence in the instructors that you are calm underwater doing complex tasks. But when we start getting into the open ocean and doing missions and full mission profiles, we were a small team. We were together, and that was awesome because some people don't finish fast. Some people, breathe more of the air than others. So it was a opportunity to help as much as possible. And I was an E7 when I went to dive school. So I had that leadership. I've already, it was my 5th deployment, after my 5th deployment. So I had all of that experience and that knowledge and that motivation, because during those years prior to dive school, man, dive teams were the best. They were the most physically fit. They were the strongest, mentally, physically. They were the tactical, they were great tactically. So that was the want, is I wanted to be on the best team there was. And in 3rd Battalion, that was the dive school or dive team.
And so where do you guys go to dive school in the Army?
In Key West.
Key West?
Yeah, so you can't.
No wonder it was a good 5 weeks. You know what I mean?
You
guys are coral diving, petting the fish. It's a good time, man.
Yeah, going downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that'll all make sense after like next 5-10 minutes after I tell my entire story. But yeah, there was something different about military and veterans. Like, we can do hard things when we don't feel well. You know, that is something that we all on this screen, and everyone listening that has said that they've had experience doing that, whether it's unhealthy behaviors like hungover, or whether it's being sick or going overseas and eating something nasty and being sick for weeks. But we still were required to do our jobs, and that skill set you can't replicate. And
I think a lot of that has to do with the people that are counting on you to be there around you to do the job every day, right? Like, it's not that the pain and whatever you're going through aside, like, that in most cases, the 3 guys that are counting on you to be at work today are also in the same boat. So you got to get there, you got to perform. But yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have those guys counting on you, and you've built that bond and brotherhood, and all that. I got your 6, and we're going to take each other, and we're going to make sure that we're there for each other. That is the part that's grown. And then sometimes, which I know we're going to get into in a little bit, is where the biggest struggle comes once you get out, right? Because if you don't feel like doing it today, I'm just not going to do it. Nobody's counting on me. Why would I do it today, right? So interesting.
Yeah, so I think now would be a good time to go to a break. But I just want to say, like, all these things, of all the people we've had on the podcast, I've always said that, like, the SF guys, the Delta guys, any of the Ranger, the Spec Ops, all these extra things, these are all always the guys that were my heroes. And you see that the higher level of military physicality, I mean, these are world-class athletes, and they can do wonderful, crazy physical things and mental things, and the things they can do with guns and themselves and getting themselves in and out of places. It's amazing. They've always been our heroes. But when we come back from the break, we'll see that sometimes the other side, like he made it a point to talk about the professional side. He was kicking ass. But when we get into the personal side, sometimes, I did great in the military, but on the personal side, sometimes you struggle. When we come back from the break, we'll hear a little bit about that. Why don't you take us out, Scott?
No problem, my man. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast. We're live with my man, Ben Monnette, and we're going to be right back. But before while we're at break, I'm going to go ahead and do me some push-ups, man. I see my man in here. His muscles is popping out the screen. They're like telling me that I need to get my game right. So, you know what? If you guys want to improve yourself, like I'm going to improve myself during the break, I'm going to do me some push-ups and get myself together so I can feel a little bit more pumped when we come back from the break. If you're not doing anything, I would have you keep your TV on, keep your sound on, keep your eyes on the screen, but go ahead and get you about 15, 20, 25, 30 while we at the break, because that's what I'm going to do. This is Blake being Blake. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast. I'm your man, DJ Royalty, and we'll be right back, y'all.
The Triple Threat Vet Podcast on YouTube. That's right. We got a YouTube channel. We need more subscribers. So if you get the chance, go to our Triple Threat Vet Podcast YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share, and follow. Let's get the word out there. Thanks a lot.
And I think that's a good message that you gave now, that you tell everybody how it is too. Because at the end of the day, nobody can tell you what the experience you've been through, what that means to you, unless they are you. Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's time to clocking again, hopping the wave, get to the booth, make draws start dropping again, stopping, never been no option, cause my competition been flopping again, topping the 10 best rappers coming out of my city, got them all sobbing again, plotting to win, but I got a question, when is hip-hop gonna start hip-hopping again, Haters mobbing again, shocking to see them all start flocking again, I'm gonna get the mic cocked, but I can't let y'all's blood get on my conscience again, I'd rather fuck your girl and after take the bitch shopping again, and she gonna come back knocking again, sopping wet, gotta start mopping again.
Oh,
All right.
That was Theory. That's one of the guys from David Willis's podcast.
Listen, that dude did not eat a lot of crayons in the Marine Corps. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
He still has all of his cognitive ability, and if he can rap like that, like he did not eat the crayon, also known as drink the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean?
Let's eat all the fluorescent green ones.
3-time golf champion for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might not have ate the red and the green crayons. He ate the fluorescent ones, bro, the way he was rapping.
There you go. There you go.
He got the special crayon. There's a difference.
There you go. That's the guy that should do our intro song. What do you think?
Well,
Unless Bubba, you're out there listening, you still owe us a song, you know?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that is true. You're right.
What
do you think so far, fellas?
Man, I think that his career is amazing. You know, anytime you can talk to people that have done hard stuff like that, I like to ask the questions. I especially like to see Ty laugh when we ask, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? And he's like, oh, why would you ask that? They're fun to jump out of. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I bought a ticket to ride, not jump. You know what I mean?
I'm like you. I noticed.
You laugh at me for some funny stuff too.
Yeah, nobody wants to tell the real truth on that either. They can just brush over it. I want to know. When you jump out of that thing, the first thing is like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have did that. And then, like you said, you hit the thing and then you fly up that way and then you start coasting down. But I want to know what part do you start, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like nobody wants to go into it. That's the reason why I won't do it. Because whenever you leave that stuff out, that means it's going to happen. And nobody wants to tell you it. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Everybody skips over it, like, oh, you just jump out and there's just sensation of, oh, this is fast, and then then it goes slow, and then you coast down. But then you hear him say, oh, my knees is all jacked up for jumping out the plane. Well, obviously you didn't land so soft if your knees is messed up, bro.
And then by the way, I went and did dive training after I did all that, and just made him even better. So there's that.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know the real deal, because I thought about it, then I thought again, because I realized there was some key points that were kept out. Like, when you first jump, how many times you got to go before you're like, all right, I'm cool. Because that first one, I know that you're not. There's no way that first time that you're there and that wind is blowing and you jump out of there that you thought it was a good idea. There's a point where you knew this wasn't a good idea. And then once it starts getting soft and you realize that you're kind of like coasting down, probably traveling at this point at what, 80 miles an hour down? How fast, Todd? Faster than that? 13. No, I know when you first jump, you're I don't know how fast, you're a little bullet.
Static line, so I mean, I don't know how fast you're going. You don't reach terminal velocity, so I don't know. 13 feet per second.
Yeah, okay. What I'm not good at math. What does that equate to?
Well, I mean, he said he's at 36 jumps. Like, Ben's gonna laugh at me when I say this, but I enjoyed all 5 of my jumps, and that's all I did. So when he comes back on, it probably hazes out of me.
So you enjoyed the first one. You enjoyed that first one. You liked it?
I was scared every fucking time, man. Like, I was scared every time.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Hey, was there ever a jump where you were on the aircraft, right, and they changed the color of the light? Yeah, you know, there's a moment when you're in the aircraft, right? And I don't know. I've watched fucking movies, so I couldn't tell you what it is. But they're like, get ready, and you get up. And how many times have you seen the kid in front of you is like, I'm not fucking going. The dude's like, oh, you're fucking going. Yeah, you go.
I had a jump refusal.
Do I want to go too? What am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, what the? I don't know, dude.
So in 2019, I got a complete total right hip replacement. So to answer your question, so I might have re-injured, but so I think maybe the 7th time that I landed with clean underwear. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, you see the guy and they're shaking and all scared. And then there's always the ones where there's guys that are like, let's go. I can't wait to jump out. And you're like, what's wrong with him? There's got to be something wrong with that dude.
Even when you see go in front of me, right?
Yeah.
Even when you see it on the show, like I was watching Love Is Blind, right? And one of the guys on Love Is Blind said his wife to be told him that before we get married, I want us to jump out of a plane together. And he was like, okay. So and he does it, right? So then they get down to the bottom there. Wasn't that wonderful? He's like, yeah, that was great. But I never seen anybody be like, all right, let's go do it again. Like, let's go right now and go do it again. No, I never seen that. So I just think that they say that at the bottom because they're like, oh my God, I'm still alive. I made it. But hell no, I'm not doing that again. There's no way. I've never seen nobody first time was like, hey, let's go do it again. Like, on the roller coaster for me, it's like I was terrified and I did it. I was like, let's go do it again. I was good. But I've never seen that on the jump. Like somebody immediately like, take this off. I'm ready to go back right now. No, I don't know. I don't believe it. So that's why I'm not falling for that bait.
Yeah, it was.
They're a bunch of legs, man. They're a bunch of legs.
Yeah, it was.
And they're okay. They're decent. I haven't replaced any joints. You know what I mean?
True.
You got some hurt knees, but like, and semblance.
Got all your limbs and bones and whatnot.
And I would be the one who would land all the way away from the landing zone. Like I would land off and I would land right into a thing with some bulls. And I land there and I have a red parachute and land in the thing with a bunch of bulls. Next thing you know, I'm getting charged by a bunch of bulls and I run into the water and there's alligators in the damn water. That would be my journey. So that's my luck on that just doesn't seem like it's going to be right. I don't think.
Hey, look, Grant said, "Go with the altar." Period.
Good. I'm good.
Like, that sounds good. I guess you're gonna have to find somebody else that would enjoy that adrenaline rush with you. It's been nice getting to know you on these days, though. I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Ben. I just had to get it. I was waiting for you to tell me. I was trying to see if you was gonna give me the real juice, and you started.
He told you it took 7 jumps not to shit himself on the way down, bro.
It's an interesting
direct correlation.
The transition, right? You get out and you're like, oh my gosh, like, and then that jolt, the parachute opens, and then it's calm. And then it's like, okay, it's not that windy, so that's great. And then you start seeing the ground approach, faster and faster. You're like, all right, this might hurt a little bit. Or if it's windy and you're like, I don't really know how this is going to go. I'm just going to land and just try to not slam my head on the ground.
Nice.
But yeah, it was good. But that was 10 times out of 10, I'm always going to go underwater. It's just so much better for me, and it's just more enjoyable.
So going back into, Ty does a good job at foreshadowing everything that we do here. Yeah. So, sounds like professional for you. You were doing a good job. You were kicking ass. You were taking names. You were doing what you had to do to be, a great elite soldier. But if you don't mind, let's get into a little bit of the stuff you were talking before about like the personal side. Like if you want to start off with like wherever you want to start there, and we can kind of jump into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know, I want to jump, that military and drinking is a thing, right? It's to spend time, it's to build camaraderie. There's a lot of things that can happen, but there's a lot of bad things that can happen as well. And so the professional life is thriving, right? I'm next mountain. That was one of the mistakes I had, is I never really gave myself the grace and gratitude and appreciation of the work I put in to accomplish a task. Like I said, Ranger School mountain, next mountain was this, next mountain was this. And that was something that continued to thrive. And I loved that. And the reason why is because my personal life was in shambles. And why I was in shambles is because I have addictive personality. And for me, alcoholism wasn't a thing to do to celebrate, a thing to do to mourn, a thing to do to spend time with people. It was a thing to do to isolate, to get away from my mental thoughts, my beliefs of myself. And that was, I was a Green Beret and I was an alcoholic. Those are the two things. I wasn't a father. I wasn't a husband. Those were all at the bottom of our priorities. And how I was able to do this for so long was because I was in denial. I was in denial that every time I thought about my personal life, it would cause me that depression, that anxiety. And every time I thought about my professional life, I thought of joy and felt joy and accomplishment. So I would think more, and I would gravitate so much to my professional side that my personal side was just sitting there, and it wasn't doing anything. And I was the type of drinker that I didn't stop until my body said, time's up, like you're done, like no more, buddy. And I had a problem a long time before I raised my hand to get help. And I don't play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, but I should have raised my hand a lot sooner when I saw my first marriage go down the spiral, right? And I end up getting divorced when we were in Syria. I come back in 18 and to an empty house, and that's when things really, really got dark. Throughout my deployments, PTS, moral injuries, operative syndrome, all these other things were continuing to get sprinkled into my already depressive and anxiety-stricken life. So it just made it worse. But one thing that made it better for the time being was alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. Alcohol enabled me to escape. It works. Unhealthy as shit, right? And can ruin many, many lives, but it's effective. It enables you to forget and isolate and not feel the way you're feeling at that time. There are many, many different ways now that I know that there are many ways that is more healthy ways to do that. However, during that time of the 14 years of my addiction in the military I didn't. and I didn't have a school that I failed to come back and say, you know what, I didn't do well. It's because of drinking, right? Drinking never caused me to have any professional consequences. Many personal consequences, but not professional.
So where
So that
where
was
did
that was
that? Yeah, I was just going to ask you, where did it start for you, right? Because you're when you started off, you're talking about, it is a major problem in the military. So was that your first introduction to doing that? Was it something that you picked up? Was it, one of those learned behaviors from being in the various duty stations we've all been to and seeing what that culture was? What was it that got you into that road in the first place? Because, there's many reasons that happens for all of us.
I mean, I drank in high school. I drank in college. College got a little bit squirrely. Didn't really affect my grades. I never had consequences from my drinking until, and I'll get to that, but there was never something that was like, oh, I got to stop. Yeah, Bob, I get it. Yeah, it is. Fort Campbell is. I would say any place, to be honest with you, is. And when in 2019-20, I had an opportunity to go to a course up in Washington, D.C., and I knew I was not going to be successful. I knew it was a 6-month course. I knew at my stage where I was at, mentally, physically, emotionally, I was not going to be successful. So at the time, I was in a relationship after the marriage, and I raised my hand. I went to my command and said, hey, I have a problem. I need help. I need some assistance. What can I do? So they sent me to a 30-day hospital setting veteran program. And I left that program with very minimal skill set, minimal coping skills, how to handle life, how to handle being a father, how to handle being a husband. And just by sheer determination, I stayed sober for 18 months. Here's the crazy thing. I was still an asshole. I still am an asshole now, but I took away the only thing that I knew to be effective to handle all my stress. But then I was faced to handle all that stress with no skills, no community. That was the first time in my life that I attempted something very, very difficult by myself. I did not have a strong community or a team to help me go through newly sober Ben. And that was, that's something that was exposed to me, through a couple of the public speaking engagements that I've done with Nick Lavery, is knowing that community and team is so powerful. But why did I not try to embrace that through my recovery? And that was something that now moving forward, I can help others, tell them you need a community around you if this is something that you want to change. And so 18 months goes by. I go to the school in DC, pass the school in DC, come home, get in a unhealthy relationship. And I was actually down in Key West 2 years ago. And one thing's led to another. My wife at the time, basically just a lot of bad things happened when she told the command I was drinking and all these terrible things. And I relapsed. It was my decision, regardless of how anybody treated me. It was my decision to relapse. And when I said it got dark, earlier when I got home to an empty house, this time it got even darker. And now I had the extra ammunition to beat myself down because I relapsed. Now I am a failure at that. And so I relapsed for 7 days in a hotel. And on the 5th day, I actively tried to take my life drinking. I went to the hospital about 4 hours after my last drink. I think I blew like a 0.24. It was very bad. And I returned back to my behavioral health therapist, and I was a broken man again. I didn't know what to do. So they informed me of Treehouse Recovery as a place to go, and I would have done anything. I didn't want to be where I was at that moment. And I was able to go to Treehouse Recovery for 3 months.
So, question for you, Ben. So,
Yes.
I'm gonna go in the weeds a little bit. When you say you try to drink yourself to death, like you were literally trying to, like you intentionally were trying to, right? Because like sometimes I think when that's said, people say, well, if you drink so many drinks, then you're trying to, drink yourself to death. But then there are the instances where like even though you're drunk subconsciously, that I'm just going to try to drink myself until there's nothing left. Is that what you were saying in that point?
Yeah, there was times that the 3rd, 4th day that I would wake up in the morning. It was nasty. It was dirty. It was just it was throwing up. It was the first thought of negative thoughts that entered my mind. Boom, my brain was like, I know a solution. Go back and start drinking again. And that consistency of having, a year and a half sober and then going back to your normal pace.
Yeah.
And then having it worse and worse. And that was the point. And I don't remember much prior to getting to the hospital. It was a bad day. It was a lot of tears, a lot of things that I wish I could have taken back. And it was hard. And I am grateful and blessed to have, individuals that were willing to come get me and take me to the hospital. I'm blessed that there's a program out there that changed my life. And I'm blessed that I'm now can help others not walk the same path I did. Because it's not fun. There's so much life to be lived, and it's just dark. And me coming back from Treehouse after 3 months, and I'll talk a little bit about Treehouse, but I want to kind of wrap it up, is, I didn't know what my future entailed when I came back. And I started the medical board process. I, was under the assumption that I maybe could have, gotten, separated because of alcohol. There's a lot of things that I could have very easily went back to the bottom, right? And two outliers that were there is A, I had a strong community here in Nashville, and B, I had the skills. There are new skills, but I had the skills, and now it was just a matter of whether or not I was going to employ them or not. I think that a lot of people who are struggling may know of the skills, but they don't know how to employ the skills.
Got it.
So that's why that community aspect is so important, because it's just like going into a team, right? And you sit in the corner and you're like, hey, I'm going to learn. Well, I'm going to learn from someone who's been able to handle life in a healthy way for 10 years. So I really kind of took that same approach to recovery, is let me learn as much as possible. Let me ask questions, let me clarify, and let me take all that data and then make it applicable to me, who I am, right?
Yeah.
And that was something that I'm grateful to do and or had done. So I like that.
So tell me this before you go.
Yeah.
Because there's different levels, right? There's different levels, and I need this to kind of understand you, because you're a big guy. There are different levels of how people react to alcohol, right? You have some that drink they get sad, right? And everything is sad. You get some that drink and they get angry to where they're violent. You get some that, you know what I mean, that are like really friendly and happy. What would you consider yourself to be? Because I've met and been around every single one of those, right?
Yeah.
And some of those are different than others when it comes to how that is. You get alcohol and you get with someone who's violent, then that can be very that can, the level of that can change. You have some that drink and they go to sleep. You know what I mean? So where would you say what level you were? What did alcohol do for you in the matter?
Yeah. There's a mixture, right? There was a mixture of happiness, and then there was a mixture of I would say like 60-40, right? 40% of happy, 60% of depression. And why am I doing this again? This is, I'm going to feel like this again in the morning. Why do I continue to go something that I know makes me feel this way? I was the type of guy that would have a couple drinks and feel tipsy, but I would have as many as I could handle until my body gave up. And so I didn't drink to get drunk. I drank to escape. And that was the dangerous, right? Is when I was able to not be able to drink to escape. What was I escaping? And I never had an opportunity to fully unpack that because I continued to drink and drink and drink to hide it. And that just magnified my depression, magnified the anxiety, the negative self-talk, the self-esteem, all these things. And there was but yeah, I'm looking back, thinking like most of the times it was by myself. I would drink by myself. And that was obviously that's a telltale sign. But there's some happy times, much more pain and sad times, but there were some happy times. And that's what I never really could understand, what was going on in my brain that caused me to do this when it caused so much pain during and after. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes more sense now because I understand how our brain works and the addictive mindset. However, just like a lot of military and veterans, we are either 100% or zero. Like the light switch is on or the light switch is off. We're either going to war or we're chilling. And we're either drinking 100% or we're not drinking at all. And that's to say that's kind of the mentality I did. And that was not the greatest mentality to have.
Yeah.
So what was the reception for you and what was it like for you once you got back? I know that you said you were worried, like, is this going to be the end for me? Am I going to get separated for this and all that? Like, knowing that you went there, like, what was your reception? How do you feel what was the reaction to you coming back, and how were you welcomed, or how were you integrated back in to your unit?
When I got back, I started my med board process. Okay. So there was very limited, integration because once you start the med process, you're kind of off to your own devices, right? You can kind of make and create your own schedule. I also did a IOP here in Nashville. Treehouse has an IOP here. So I went there 3 days a week. So that helped me significantly, keep me busy, but also helping me understand and transition into this new Ben, this new sober male or man who can now do some great things. Because I had my therapist at Treehouse said, you've done all those things when you're an alcoholic. What can you do now? Yeah. And I've really, kept that, close to the heart is what can I do now? What can I accomplish now? Because I've accomplished those things all while having an unhealthy behavior. But to answer your question, the integration from the first time I went to treatment was amazing. They supported me. They enabled me to go back to that training course that I wanted to go to. And I think that's where our military is going. I think we are, just how I said, we have to be adaptable to our society. Where was I going with this?
I think the biggest key to it, I think what you're trying to say is you have to make sure there's a lot of things we did great back in the day to prepare the warfighter to go do what they needed to do, and they were needed. But now that we've had a 20-year period of just nothing but conflict and a lot of people coming back to drinking problems and mental health problems and PTSD operators, I mean, the laundry list is long of what people have had to endure coming back to. I think one direction the military is starting to go and they need to get better in, I think, is what you're alluding to, is like offering that care and being able to identify the warning signs early. And you might actually wind up saving service members to have longer careers because you're able to help them, get the help that they need. And so I think early detection is obviously something that's going to come with time. But the hard part, we have so many of the war fighters that we're in that we're, I can't go in to say anything because if I say something, it's not going to be good. And I think that's the mentality that's changing for the better, is like, it's okay to bring it up, right? Like you have to be able to do that. Otherwise, you did all this great for the country, but then to your point, when you come back and the people that care about you and love you and will always support you, how do you treat them when you get back? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it. And the military's philosophy is that, right? If you have enough understanding and ability to reflect and be like, hey, I have a problem, I need help, and I can't say, I can only speak on behalf of special operations and what I've seen. I can't talk about other commanders and leadership, but what I've seen is they're like, okay, we'll get you help, we'll get you fixed, we'll come back.
Yeah.
The difference between what I've now seen is between what Treehouse Recovery does and what other programs do is vastly different. And why I say that is for us at Treehouse Recovery, we have so that link, Treehouse Recovery Tennessee, is our Nashville link. If you take out the TN, the Tennessee part, and just do treehouserecovery.com, that's going to be our national link, just for you guys, if you guys are searching around. But what we do differently is, and this is why it applies and it works so well with veterans and active duty, is we place an importance on physical fitness. We all know how good we feel. Like, DJ, how good did you feel after doing those 15, 20 push-ups?
Oh, I felt pumped, man. I felt good because I knew I didn't do them, and I've been making excuses, and I didn't have any excuses. Seeing you made me motivated to do it, so it didn't make me feel good. You saw me do them, right? You saw me in the backstage. I went down and did them. Now I'm not going to tell you to do them and not do them. I got down and did them. Yeah.
But yeah, that's so we focus a lot on the knowledge aspect and the physical fitness portion of it. We work out every single day when we're at our program, and then we learn every single day. There's studies shown that once you get out of a physical or active environment and you get into an academic environment, you're more willing to learn and recall that information in time of the need. So what are we doing when we're drinking? Our bodies are releasing many chemicals, but dopamine, right? We're getting that feel-good chemical. What do we do when we work out? The same. So what Treehouse does is we focus solely, heavily on that portion of it to show you, hey, you can get the same dopamine that you're searching for through any unhealthy behavior by working out and by understanding what's going on in your brain. And when I say addiction, and I was talking to Ty a little bit about this, is we all think alcohol, drugs, but we need to expand that. There's porn, there's gambling, there's overeating, social media, right? There's a lot of other forms of addiction. So for me personally, how I define addiction is anything that negatively impacts my relationships, my finances, or my relationship with myself. And so that's the way I teach it. That's the way I talk about it, because there's a lot more addictions out there. And if we apply these same skill sets to those, we can change our lives. And the two other things why I say Treehouse Recovery is apart from any other program is you are on a team. There's 3 teams, there's 3 houses. You live with the team, you eat with the team, you travel to the facility with the team, you work out with your team. It is a very team-centric program, which is a no-brainer why active duty veterans, law enforcement, first responders adapt well to that. Our program is the minimum of 3 months. And I know a lot of people, because I talk to everybody that goes to Treehouse that are veterans or military, and 3 months is a long time. Well, what is 3 months compared to 5 years? Nothing. A small drop in the bucket, right? And additionally, if you have an addiction, sprinkle on some PTS onto that, some anxiety, depression. 30 to 45 days is not enough to unpack all that, to learn how to become sober and a new you. I would argue 30, 45 days just doesn't cut it. So that's why we extended it to 3 months to 6 months, because you need that time to heal, you need that time to learn, and you need that time to employ the skill sets that you've learned. So I love the fact that they do the long-term treatment. The workout, man, I returned back to Fort Campbell like physically fit and mentally fit, like the most physically fit and mentally fit I was in a long time. And that was accredited to the program I was at Treehouse. And
yeah, you come back strong, man.
Yeah, and
you come back looking strong and healthy. That's a big thing. 3 months of working out every day, and you come back, you look strong. That's a testament in itself. When people see you, like, man, he went away, he come back, and he looks powerful. Like that's a motivator for somebody else who may be going through something and thinking that it's not going to work. If I saw you go away in a bad shape and then you come back, you're swole up and looking strong and you're thinking good and you're moving, I'm motivated. Like, you know what? Maybe I do need to, hey man, put me in, sign me up, because I'm got some stuff going on. I want that Get Swole package.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the mental, right? The mental strength to come back. And a lot of, and I thought this too, right? Is why 3 months?
Yeah.
Right? And someone talked to me and they were like, well, are you present now? Are you being a good father, man, soldier now? And the answer to that was no. So he's like, okay, well, 3 months, that's all you need, right? That's what you want. So, and that's how I voice it to commands when I talk to them is, listen, you've invested in a soldier. He or she is struggling. We get him some help. He returns better. Now you can use him, right? You can use him more effectively. So as I continue to transition and but handle this transition period, right? But I was already getting out. The med board process was there early this year. I officially will be out December. So this year was I equate it to the first year of transition, because I really didn't do much at work. And it was difficult dealing with finding a new purpose, finding a new identity, a new passion. It was very, very difficult to find. Having a community, being around people in the sober community, which is, I don't know about Texas, like Houston, but Nashville is a large, massive sober community. started learning, started talking, working with Nick Lavery on some speaking engagements, I saw how I could impact others by telling my story and extending or informing others about this resource called Treehouse Recovery. And it was that's where my new passion became. My new passion now is to help veterans in active duty get the help that they deserve. And in recovery, one size shoe does not fit all, right? There's many different programs out there. There's many different veteran tracks that they want to call it, and it's on that person's own data to learn what is the best for them. I was talking to a individual today. He's not going to Treehouse Recovery, but I'm still helping him because he deserves that.
Yeah.
And he, I'm hopefully going to get him to another program in Texas. However, it's not just, well, I'm going to get you to Treehouse. No, I'm going to get you better because that's what you deserve. No one deserves to live. If they're living anything like I was living, no one deserves to do that. And showing and being there for people and showing that you care about them is powerful. And that's really sparked everything. My new journey. And that's what kind of sparked, me reaching out to you all as to how can I get in front of as many different veterans or active duty members to show them that A, if you're struggling, you're not alone. And B, if you're struggling, it can be beat. Like you can win over this battle. I'm testimony many others that are testimony of that as well.
Yeah, I think that in the veteran community right now, there's a lot of resources out there for guys to get help, but unfortunately, we're stubborn as shit. So we don't really ever listen to everybody that's around us, and a lot of times there's still that pride that you have in you. And so that's what this journey is for us. Like we bring so many talented and amazing individuals on to talk about the things they've been through, but then the way that they came out of it on the other side. And so if we can, everybody says if you can reach one, but screw that, man. I want to reach everybody. So if I can reach everybody just to hear it, then it helps them, So I'm glad that you found a program like that. I'm glad that they're around, and it's, you're definitely finding your purpose, whether it's working for them or just helping people you see that need the help, pointing them in the right direction. At that point, you now have there's more service to be had there, right? There's more purpose to be had. You're still a leader, and you're still affecting change in soldiers and military members on a daily basis, which is amazing. And so I thank you for the story, man. I appreciate hearing about it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's many veterans out there that are struggling. So there's no need for competition in this domain, right? And that's the thing that I'm trying to help is to impact is that, listen, like if the program's solid and works well and has statistics to show that, hey, this program is the last program that they ever go to, then that's all come together and that's all help, right? And because there's plenty of veterans around. So that's the kind of the method, how I approach it. Obviously, at the end of the day, businesses have to make a money and keep the lights on. I understand that. But if we can start working together, I have a lot of connections with a lot of nonprofits, a lot of great nonprofits that look at the holistic approach and not just, hey, that's, the VA's approach is given the trifecta, as I always call it, is like, you got the antidepressants, you got the anti-anxiety meds, and you got the sleep medication. Like that's like the three things that at first anybody's going to give you. And if you just change your behaviors and change certain things about your life, you may not need to use those. So we promote the getting off as many medications as you can while on our program, and we're expanding. We have a place in Costa Mesa, California, which is about an hour south of LA, next to like Huntington Beach. We have a facility up in Portland, Oregon. Both of those facilities are the 3 to 6 month programs. And then we have Nashville IOP and Wilmington, North Carolina IOP, which is 3 days a week for 3 hours each session. Same thing. You'll work out together as a group, and then you have about an hour, hour and a half of addiction education, of life skills education. So it's just a great community to have, to work out with people who understand your struggles, and they have their own struggles, and you learn from one another. You build relationships, whether or not they are a veteran or not. And you continue to thrive, and you redefine your life.
Yeah, so I think that that's key, and that's what we've talked about here. And we have a lot of friends that we know in this veteran podcasting space, and talk to a lot of people that we've had those discussions of exactly what you just said. Is unfortunately, and it is unfortunately, the clientele for all these nonprofits and all these spaces that are trying to help people. Oh, you have plenty of people. I promise you. You're not going to go out of business not having the people to help. But the key there is, can you help that person, right? So that's why we like to meet and talk with as many organizations as we can, because if anybody ever calls us and goes, I know someone that needs help here, we want to be able to go, sit tight, I'm going to connect you right now. Like, that's what that's all about, is like working together with all of them, because everybody has their unique approach to things. And just like we learn in leadership, everybody learns and is motivated differently. And so what you're going to do to help people could be different. And to your point, if we start getting people to understand that they need to build this thing into a network, because one size does not fits all, then we're going to be able to help more people. And here's the thing. They may have to come to you and go to 3 other people to get the help they need. And that's okay too. It just is a matter of, you can't, and I've seen this a little bit, is you can't think that your program is the program that is where it stops and is going to make it perfect, because you have to do that follow on, and you have to, keep in touch with these people. You have to start to notice the sign. And then that's where that connection of that community comes in. Like, I'm wearing a hat for one of the people we work with all the time, the Project Zero Alliance here in Houston, whereas they're not doing a long-term like you guys are, but they're taking guys out on overlanding trips. They're going fishing. Matter of fact, big plug for them. They're taking a crew of people to Kilimanjaro next year in 2025 to go do a hike and a hunt. It's like a thing to build up, and it's a thing to accomplish. So they do a lot of their stuff through like adventure type therapy, right? To bring people in, to put them into a situation that's comfortable, relaxing, and just fun for these veterans to be able to sit around and be like me, you, Blake, Ty are sitting on the fire, and we're complaining about whatever it is. And someone's going to love and be like, stop bitching, dude. Are you serious? And sometimes it takes you going, yeah, you're probably right. I'm complaining about a lot. But we don't have those people around us every day anymore that just told us, like, I get it. It sucks. But the more you complain about it, the more you're going to think about it. And sometimes you see that it becomes a problem to dwell on, the woe is me, versus moving forward and going around it, which is easily done. But once you get away and you don't have that support source, sometimes it's hard to see that you can do that. And so I just love knowing that these programs are out there and they're helping people. And I can't wait to talk to many more to make sure we have all the resources we need.
Yeah. Collectively, we're powerful. Collectively, man. Veterans together are powerful, right?
Yep. Just like we are when you kick everybody's ass around the globe.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Still the best country. Yeah. We have our faults. We don't, obviously, we're a little bit more divided than we used to be. However, we're still the best country in this world. And
yeah, man. So
we'll crush it out of the park. I saw Amber ask a question.
She has a question, but Amber, we're going to get to your question. I promise you. But, there's never a good time for you to get uncomfortable. You know that. You've jumped out of airplanes. You've dove in the water. You've done all kinds of shit that made you uncomfortable. Yeah, so now it's time for our man, DJ Royalty, to put you in that uncomfortable seat. And when we get back from that, Amber, I definitely want to get to your question, because I think there's a definite answer you'll like there. But without further ado, go ahead. He already changed the hat.
Yeah, you already know what it was.
I know.
I saw the flames. I saw the flames in the background, so I figured it's getting that time. My hat started winking at me too, so kind of knew. I kind of felt it. All right, Ben, here we go. It's me and you, brother. I know you've seen it before, but you are officially in the hot seat. Hot seat is just going to be a series of questions. I'm just going to ask you some questions. Only thing, just answer them however you want to answer them. But how you feel, all right? Shouldn't be too bad.
Perfect.
But maybe not. So we're going to get right into it. I need to know, who are your 5 favorite people right now? Name them all.
Oh, wow. Not in any particular order. Elon Musk,
Particular order. I just need 5. 5 of your favorite people right now.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James,
Oh, okay.
Brady.
These can be any people. Mom, dad, sister, brother, kids.
Oh, they're on this side. This is my list of people, and the Lord, God, Jesus Christ.
Okay,
These
so
are 5 people.
you said Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James,
Yep.
Jesus
Elon
Christ,
Musk. Yep.
Elon Musk, and one more.
What did I say? Oh, my son.
Okay, got it. Right there. All right. Ben, what is your biggest fear?
To not live up to my standard.
Okay. What would you say your standard is? What's your standard?
And sometimes it's unrealistic. My standard is to wake up and go to bed every morning knowing that I did as much as I could to help as many people as I can.
There you go. I like it. All right. If you were given one mulligan in life, it's only one. This is one redo. Where would you use it and why?
Wow. I need to make more than one, but I would say
You're gonna get the one.
the month before I entered the military. And because I would have gotten help, I would have figured out my mental issues or concerns I had, and I would have joined the military the same way I left the military, both mentally and physically fit.
Gotcha. All right. I ask you this one because I need like to know it. You got love, you got loyalty, and you got respect. They're all important. But put them in order by your priority from highest to lowest.
Respect first.
Yep.
Love, loyalty.
All right. Respect, love, and then loyalty. Okay, got it. That's the order there. All right. Now I see that you got pretty big guy, right? But I also see another side of you as well. So I have to ask the question because I don't know, and I like to try to know who I'm talking to. Are you the type of person who would rather run down a hill to kick some ass or run up a hill to get some ass?
Man, I don't think my significant other would like this answer, but I'd probably.
She'd like it if it's running up the hill to get hers.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'd probably say running down to kick some ass because I got that momentum.
Okay. All right. That could be funny after a few drinks, but we're not doing that anymore. So good. All right, here we go. What do you do now to get through your toughest times?
I vocalize that to my friends. My core, like I have a small core, like Brothers Keeper friend group.
Yeah.
I bring the problem to them. I don't sit there with myself because I know that if I handle the problem how I want it to, it's probably not going to go well. So I consult others.
That's important. Need everybody to know that. That circle of friends. You got to circle and surround yourself with people who have interest in your moving forward. That's powerful that you have that. That's good. We all need that. All right, here we go. I have to ask the question, but I already think I know the answer because I've seen how you answered another question. But I gotta ask. I asked a young man the other day. He told me this thing, and then we got into an argument. Not an argument, a bad one, but just a level of understanding. Ben, even though I know the answer to this one, I'm afraid to ask it. I'm gonna ask it. Who's your GOAT, man? Is it Michael Jordan or is it LeBron James? Right now.
Right now.
Yeah. 2024.
I would say LeBron James.
Oh my gosh, I found me one.
Did you think I was going to answer that one?
Yeah, you shot me with that one.
I'm from Ohio, so he's an old Ohio boy. But the thing that he did that was different is he came straight out. He had the maturity, and he's had the duration, right? The years of that. So
yeah,
that's why
you don't have to explain to these guys. You good. You good. Just say it with your chest. LeBron James. I like it. All right. Okay, so with these last questions I have, we got 3. Just keep it on the roll. Who's your GOAT in this aspect? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it Michael Jackson? Or is it Prince?
Ooh.
Yeah. Come on, man. You're doing good.
By talent only. Talent. I like Michael Jackson.
However you want it. You say that one more time. Say it again. Say it one more time for me.
By talent only, Michael Jackson.
All right, that works for me. I just needed to hear the name. Ty, you know what to do. I've been waiting for this for about.
You knock me off of my feet now, baby. Oh, baby, move it, baby.
Slowly but surely, we're gonna get there. Rest in peace to both Michael Jackson and Prince. Love you both, but Mike, you gotta get on your tiptoes. We gotta moonwalk you back up into this one. All right, here we go. Ben, do you see any concerns for our country moving forward? Not presidential stuff. I ask you that because it's election time, but not going into presidential anything, but just as the world, you as a person, do you see any concerns for our country moving forward? And you can name that however you want to, by any stipulation.
Yes, because we are a society of instant gratification, and our adversaries they play the long game.
Yep.
So it's a marathon to them and it's a sprint to us.
Yep, I like that. And I know exactly what you mean by that. I think we're focusing on the wrong things, and I agree with you 100%. All right, last question for you, my brother. You will be officially out of the hot seat. Don't know if you have or if you haven't been on any of the podcasts before, or if you even watch or listen to podcasts. But based on your experience in the podcast with myself, Ty, and Matt today, and what you know about our podcast, where would you rate our podcast from a 1 to 10 and why?
10 being the highest?
10 being the highest.
I'd say 8. I've been on about 20, I think, ish podcasts. Okay. 8 out of 10. The only reason why I give you an 8 is because I'm not sitting in the studio with you guys.
Oh, okay. We're trying to work on that, man. We're trying to get some sponsorships or something like that to where we can be in the room together. But I would have loved to have been in the room with you as well, man. I think you are an awesome person. I'm really pushing for your success moving forward. I like the swollenness. I like that you're in the gym. I can definitely see it. I can tell that you want to be happy and you want to be good. And I think that you're on the right track, man. So I'm 100 behind you on what you've been doing. And I appreciate you taking time to give, reach, and teach someone else out there in the world based off of your experience. And the fact that you are still here means that you are still continuing to put your best foot forward, man. And the world is better with you in it. That sure is some hot shit right there, man. So I appreciate you, man. Salute to you for everything that you're doing. But you have officially made it out of the hot seat, my brother.
So I got a question about this hot seat though. Just one rebuttal.
Yeah.
So Ben said, off talent only.
No, don't.
I'm
Why are you going back
picking
there?
Michael Jackson. The question was, who's the GOAT? The GOAT isn't talent only. The GOAT is overall.
Okay, so
that
go ahead. He
makes
can
me
re-answer. He can
That
re-answer.
makes me
Okay.
think. You know what I mean?
I mean, go ahead. I mean, explain. You can plead your case, Ben. Just so
Oh man, so
If you can't tell, this is a highly contested question.
it is, and I'm not taking my taking my answer away. Like it's still going to be Michael Jackson.
You gotta say what you tell.
However,
That's right.
Made some questionable life decisions and choices,
Yeah.
but talent-wise, he is the GOAT for me because I listened to him more than I did Prince growing up.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
That makes sense.
And
Makes
I'm trying to
sense.
get.
I had
I'm
to
trying
jump
get
in
tied
there.
here.
Yeah.
I had to jump in there. You know what I mean? It was like off talent only. I was like, there is a chance. You know what I mean? Like, obviously not. And Blake, by the way, I don't know why you're surprised by his LeBron James answer because he did put Michael Jordan and LeBron James
In the same
in his
box.
5 favorite people.
But he said Michael Jordan first. That's the only reason why I was like, oh, I was a little worried. But
Gotta
I
keep
do
going
agree
first.
with Grant.
He did say no order.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with Grant, though. I do know that Prince is a better basketball player than Michael Jackson. For sure. He definitely is. Prince got some skills on the basketball court, man. I'm going to tell you that.
Him and
Blouses.
Dave Chappelle are
Right. Blouses, for sure.
Blouses.
That's good stuff.
Well, Ben, I really enjoyed hearing your story, brother, and I'm gonna keep in touch with you for sure. And thank you so much for sharing. That's what we like to do on the show is we throw as many tools out at the veteran community as we can to as many listeners as we can. And if one person hears that and tells one other person that it helps, then to us that's
Absolutely.
success. So thank you very much.
We all can. I
Look this
got
up.
Amber's question, right?
Yeah. Amber's
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
was, look at that. Amber was probably like, these guys have a severe
These
case of
motherfuckers.
ADD. So
So,
I did notice on the website that with Treehouse Recovery, you can do it through TRICARE. So her question is it only for active duty? But if it's a veteran, I guess the community care referral will be coming from the VA. Are they able to do that? Or what would the process be if you could share?
yes. So, yes, you can. You will. We do have community care networks in Portland. So we do have that. My experience with the VA is that you've been to one VA, you've been to one VA, right? Like there's no standardization or protocols in place that works across the country. So it's hard to answer that with the veterans. We have individuals that will walk through that person if he's struggling. Yes, for VA. Yep, TRICARE is easy. VA is the more difficult because the VA wants to be useful. The VA has programs in place for substance misuse. Are those programs worth a damn? I'm not here to say yes or no, but I would lean on to say no, right? So yes, there is a process to get individuals who have VA to Treehouse Recovery. It is a little bit longer process because of that individual has to go to the VA, has to advocate for himself and ensure that they know that he wants an outside referral. And if they do not do that, then we go back to the drawing board. We try to enlist some nonprofits, some other funds to help get that person to Treehouse Recovery. Yeah, the PACT Act. Yep. And it's frustrating. And that's why I think a lot of nonprofits were created to help bypass or help give certain services to individuals that need that care. So I would love for the VA to just get rid of the military treatment facilities, all that process, and let other facilities take care of that. However, it's not that, and we just have to work with what we have. And then just Matt, you said something about Treehouse, and then Amber kind of ties in. So it is males only. We're here to change our lives. We're not here to get in relationships, right? Like that can happen whenever. And the other thing is treatment is easy. You are in a controlled environment and it's easy. The recovery aspect is a difficult part. So what we do, Triage does well, is we provide that aftercare. So if a veteran goes or an active duty individual goes to Triage recovery, my job is to work with him to wherever he lives to set up nonprofits and set up a follow-on after-action player or care plan for them. Because that day you leave treatment and you go to life, it is a more difficult transition. Sometimes it can be very stressful if you're adding a family member, children involved into it. So leaving our program, you are equipped with the resources that you need to continue to maintain healthy behaviors.
Nice. Yeah, I think what would be the most helpful thing on the planet is if lawmakers and people that were representatives of the VA could set up some sort of freaking national, I don't know what you call them, convention, where you can bring a lot of these nonprofits and these guys that are doing great freaking work all across the country to help veterans and get them all into one room and do this big ass week-long networking event where all of these different people can work together and talk with each other and share ideas. And you might actually find out that everybody's trying to do the same thing. And you might actually find out that it may be okay to authorize people to go a different route because, like we've said on here today, not everybody is going to be able to do the same thing to get the same result. So you can't just give them Motrin and tell them it's not going to hurt. You've got to go a route where that's going to help them. And sometimes, I think some nonprofits could also hear this and understand that, like, sometimes you can't help. And that's where I like Treehouse, what you were describing there, Ben, because you now have to create a network of people that the individuals you guys help can reach out to. You know what I mean? Like, go talk to these guys, go to these guys. These guys are in your area. It's almost like your own AA support group for post-treatment, right? Where it's giving you more tools to succeed, right? Which is a good thing. But I do have a question. Do you guys foresee yourselves in the future? Because I know you said it's all males right now. Do you foresee yourself offering the program to females if it grows a little bit bigger? Do you think there's a plan to do that in the future? Because one thing I've seen is a lot of things we talk about, it's just like the military, right? You got to have the right facilities, the right thing. We already know if you get, like you just said it, you get guys and girls in the same room, you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yes.
But is there a plan to maybe offer that to our veterans in the future?
I know Justin McMillan, the CEO of Treehouse Recovery, that is his goal, right? He wants to have a separate facility for women, active duty veterans and law enforcement, because I do feel that although we are a little bit behind the power curve on getting help and getting the right help for individuals in the military, I know that law enforcement and first responders are way behind us.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's saddening to see that. So yes, we do ultimately would love to have, a female facility. I think it's in the works, maybe a 5-year plan. But it's definitely a something that needs to happen. And there are good ones out there. I'm working on an initiative that is working with American Legion on the West Coast, all the different outposts to expand and to help raise them money, but also to inform them about Treehouse Recovery and the recovery opportunities. You did say something about the nonprofits so oftentimes for me, right, is I was struggling with alcoholism, but I was also struggling with PTS, some depression, some anxiety. I take out alcohol. There was the decrease in depression, decrease in anxiety, but I still had the PTS. So these nonprofits, they take the holistic approach, but we have to get the main cause under control first, and that is addiction. Then we can move into maybe some SI with Mission 22 up in Portland. It's a great program, nonprofit. Or there's the stellate ganglion blocks. There's all these other treatments that people can do, but you can't pick and choose. You got to get better. You got to stop the unhealthy behaviors. Then you can start working on these other innovative approaches to PTS, TBIs and whatnot. But we got to get that first one under control first.
Yeah, I think it would be smart for the VA, right? What you just described there is the clinical part of it, right? The VA probably has the best infrastructure to offer the clinical part of it to kind of help you in the beginning of that. But then when you come into your follow-on care and your aftercare, that's where these nonprofits could start to work with the VA for that to now be a referral resource, right? Like, oh, this is where you can go, kind of like what you guys are doing to go help with that. I just feel like everybody's heart is in the right place. Everybody wants to do the same thing. They all want to help veterans. And to your point, we've met a lot of nonprofits that were like, we're starting this for veterans. And slowly but surely, a lot of veteran nonprofits are starting to get into the first responder realm because they do see that these guys are a little bit behind the veterans. And to be quite honest, they see the same, if not worse in some cases, based on what they have to go through. So it's like we need to get everybody help. And so I wish everybody just get on the same page, man. It's not about making money. It's not about, are you going to be profitable? It's about that guy's going to be here for his kids another day. He's going to be there to help his family. He's going to be there to be around. And, Blake says it the best all the time. Somebody needs you to be there tomorrow. And we just got to find a way to do that. Right.
Yes.
We shouldn't be worrying about how much that costs, to be, my opinion.
100%. And the thing I'd say time and time again is you're not alone.
Yep.
Right? And I understand that everyone's problems is unique and special to them and important. However, they're very similar to others. And you just have that willingness to be a part of something and to be a part of a change, you'll make some really deep connections because it's eerily similar. I was up in, I did a speaking engagement with the NYPD a couple weeks ago, and then we did a 15-mile ruck afterwards. And I was talking to a lot of them, and that was what I was saying. It was like, this is like, it is difficult. But when I heard some of their stories, I was like, man, you and I have this almost exact same story. I was just different environment than you were. So that's something that's really pretty powerful once you really truly understand that you are not alone in your struggles. And there's many, many people, 4 people right here that are willing to help. Right. So I think that's a tremendous thing to continue to build, is find those organizations that want to help and then build within and continue to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, brother. I can't wait to see where it goes, and if there's ever anything we can do for you, we're here. We're on the team now. So,
please reach out. Whatever you can on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me Ben.Monnette. Those questions that you can ask questions if you know of someone. I would almost argue that you can't find someone that has not been affected by addiction or suicide. And as long as we inform the people of the right places to go and help them get there, then we can slowly but surely make that transition and start changing lives.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you guys. It was awesome. It was smooth. Like, it may be like 8.5 now.
Well, we're trying to increase that rating any way we can.
Well,
but I tell you what,
the next time we have you on the show, we'll be live in Smithville, Tennessee at my dad's. He's got some property out there. We'll bring you out there, all of us. So have to fly out.
Or if there's some rich dude like Elon Musk that doesn't know what to do with his damn money and he wants to donate it and build us a studio so where we can do this live and give us a budget to fly people in. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying that it'd be really nice. Veterans. So, hit us up on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Let's go. Yeah.
Hit us up on X, Elon. We build VFWs in Tomball.
That's right.
Hey, all over the country. Ben, we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, really.
Ben Monnette, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ty, can you throw up real quick before we do the guest? Throw up the picks page because I have to send Shit and Al Hero the game so he can give me his picks.
You want me to send you a picture of it, or
Yeah, send me a picture of it so
okay.
I can I can send it to him. You know, he's in there.
It's already got my pics on it.
He's in there thinking about his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I get you. All right, I'm sending it right now in the chat.
Raj.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's pretty funny hearing a lot of his descriptions. Like I think a lot of the people that went off and went to fifth group kind of maybe knew him. So a lot of those terms he's talking about, a lot of the struggles he's talking about, going to the Q course, SFAS, coming back, having to do this, having to study your ass off to learn your language. You know, we didn't even ask him what language. Normally, they're either like Tagalog or Spanish or something. So, you know, who knows what he had to do, but like
He learned Canadian, bro. He learned Canadian.
Oh, Canadian, eh? Oh, well, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. But you know, all the struggles that he goes through, and you know, he's 110% on all those things, doing all the crazy Army stuff, and then you never know what lies underneath. So good on him for figuring out some of those things, and then you know, sharing them with us. I really appreciate that. So.
Yeah. But what's crazy though, man, is when you're in the military, it's easy to do the hard shit. Because when you're in the military, you know, if I do A, B, and C, then I'm going to be competitive. I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to do what I'm doing. So when you get in that building or wherever you're stationed, you kind of already know, like, boom, this is what I got to do to go well. But then when you get home and you're by yourself, you're like, shit, I don't know what I got to do to be good, me not wearing that uniform or out in that place. And so, you know, that's where that's a lot of where that crossroad comes when people get out, you know, because now it's always at home. Like, you're not getting up on Monday to go in and lead people and make a difference. You're like getting up on Monday and just walking around in your underwear going, damn, these walls need to be painted. I ain't doing it though, because I don't have to do shit today, right? So it's like trying to figure that out, man. So the more we can build that community, the better off we'll be, you know?
Yeah, and I liked what he said about having that brothers keeper type group. I mean, like I know that for me, I was struggling with that, and so I know that Scott helps me with some stuff I struggle with. You helped me with a lot of stuff I struggle with. Me and Al bounced each other, so I'm very grateful that we have our little brothers keeper group there as well.
Gotcha.
It's definitely a necessity. You have to have that. You can't do it. You can't do it. There's too many people in the world for people to be out here alone. Right, and trying to figure things out on their own. There's a reason why there's millions and millions of people here, because we need each other to learn and move. And sometimes you have to see grow to know that you can grow. Right.
Yeah, but you also have to be open to
receive. Yeah,
to receive. But that means you have to be open to every possibility, right?
Yeah.
And I think a little bit of where we're at now is there's so much, like, not to get into anything that's going on right now, but there's so much of where I'm here and there and these people are here and there, and you just look at things so different. Like, you wind up missing the biggest help you can have, just because, like, I would never talk to that person, or I would never go there in that situation. And you know, sometimes you have to be open and willing to accept anything that could come your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, thanks, Doc.
Yeah, appreciate you, Doc.
Yeah.
And I do want to know what CIA Bob and my old first sergeant were talking about. I don't. You'll have to translate what you and Shoemate were talking about, because I don't really speak Tennessean. You know, so you have to tell me what that Tennessee fan said.
All right. So who do we got coming up?
Yeah. So next week we got Elrico Tunstall. So he's a U.S. veteran, U.S. Army veteran in food services, and now he's making a movie. We played the trailer for What the Heart Wants last week, and he'll be talking about that along with some other movies he's got coming up, as well as, funny thing you were talking about, there should be a place where the Texas VFW can get together and talk about like legislative stuff. Next week we got a legislative check-in with Victor Ramirez.
Hell yeah, let's go. Victor's the man, dude. He's going to come on and blow y'all's minds with all kinds of shit. So just be ready. Have a pen and a pad ready to go.
Yeah, Victor's he's high energy too.
Yeah, and look, man, Blake, we just found the director for your life story, because you know we need to make that shit.
Yeah.
100%. I just want to be an extra. That's it.
Yeah. I'm with it.
Oh shit.
We got first of all over in the fantasy league, we are now tied for first place. We beat the first place team this past week, 151-92. Took care of that pretty quickly.
Thanks, Quads. Saquon Barkley was backwards jumping over motherfuckers for that win this week.
I've actually got a video that I'm going to show. Look at this.
Yeah, dude, he teabagged that dude on the way around. You know
I got to show this. I mean, one more time.
That's just great awareness.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's just great awareness all the way around.
See, yes, we do have Saquon Barkley in our backfield, and I try to get him every year.
There you go.
All right, so
Nice.
last week Notre Dame was on the bye. Georgia beat Florida. I think we all expected that. Texas A&M lost.
Every
to South
time when I
Carolina.
go to Texas A&M, they
Listen.
do me bad.
Here's what happened. You ready?
Okay, what happened?
Look, man, you put the dude in against LSU. He can run really good, and LSU wasn't ready for it. But you were playing South Carolina. They know how to play defense. You got to be able to throw the freaking ball, man. You got to be able to throw the ball, and they weren't able to throw the ball. Like me and Cole were hanging out watching that game, and I'm like, when is he going to put the throw-in quarterback? And he just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Between the hedges. Man.
Yeah.
I can't say I was happy because this kind of messed up the whole. I don't know if y'all watched the college football bowl preview thing today where they did the top 12.
No.
It came on like right before the show, so I was watching it. So they talked about the first 12, and it's kind of a crazy. I won't ruin it for you, but it's kind of a crazy list.
I don't care. Do you have the list?
No, I don't have it. I don't have it on me, but Oregon's number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But there's some teams in there that you're like, good Lord.
Yeah, they got
They
stuff moving around.
Is the Army in the top 12? That's all I want to know.
No.
Okay,
They're like number 20.
What?
Yeah, I think they're number 20 or something like that.
Disrespectful. This
In
is the only
Colorado.
time the Army Academy
It's the strength of the schedule, though.
Expecting them, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get
schedule,
real, though. There's going to be some moving around over the next couple of weeks, so it should be interesting. Army still got a chance. Army and Navy still have a chance to be in the conference championship game.
They do,
before the Army-Navy game, right?
They do, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, see.
That'd be freaking crazy if they got to play twice.
Colorado won the bye.
Yeah.
No, the bye week beat Colorado because Colorado didn't show up.
Kentucky lost to Tennessee. Arizona
Say it again.
lost.
Did you say, Todd? Say that? You went through that
Kentucky
really
lost
fast.
to Tennessee.
Oh.
Hey, it was a good game for a while.
Hey, look, we were in the text thread. I saw Go Big Blue, and I was like, Kentucky better not have fucking won that game. I was like, they do this to me every time.
I was talking shit from the beginning, but I kind of stopped talking shit a little bit with her.
Well, when I saw it, because I just wasn't paying attention to like when you sent it versus where it was, and when I saw it, I was like, shit. I immediately was like, oh, thank God. Maybe they were just doing good at the moment he sent it. So.
I didn't want to talk any shit about the South Carolina thing because that's your team and everything. So I didn't want to. I wouldn't slice you like that. But
Why didn't
I was
you?
going to about my.
Like A&M went to South Carolina and got a whole bunch of cocks in their face. You know what I mean?
Well said.
That's the
sir.
mascot, everybody. Good.
Yeah.
Lord.
All right. So last week everybody went 3-2. Not a crazy week one way or the other. Everything's still pretty much the same.
Thank God.
We got pretty much a full slate this week. I think one bye, maybe 2 buys. All right. First game.
A&M's on the bye?
Yeah, y'all need a
Thank
break
God.
after that ass whooping, man. Y'all need a break.
What?
Man, you sit down for a minute. Put some oil on that ass. Heal it up a little bit. Because the Gamecocks plucked a hole in that ass last week, and I knew it. I was like, God dang it, but it's all good.
That's all right.
It's all right. It happens. It happens,
weird. I
man.
didn't
It happens to the best of them.
Yeah. Thanks.
Here come
Appreciate
Tech. Go Army, beat Navy. Hey, what's up, Chief Carmona?
Yeah.
that. Go Army, beat
Shout out,
Navy.
Chief Carmona. All right, Notre Dame. Did Al already give you his picks back?
Yeah, he texts. He's going with you on all of them, except he's got Georgia over Ole Miss.
No, we'll do it. We'll do them one at a time here. Okay, so for Notre Dame, he's got Notre Dame, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I chose Notre Dame. Who you got, Matt?
Notre Dame. Florida
Okay.
State sucks this year.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sierra. Your alma mater is garbage.
I got Notre Dame as well.
All right, gotcha. For Georgia?
Oh, Georgia's going to make Lane Kiffin cry again this week.
Uh-oh. Okay, so that's Al's pick?
Yeah, Al's picking Georgia, but I'm picking Georgia too.
Okay,
Ole
Al,
Miss is
Matt
not
picked
beating
Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay. You want to go first, Scott, or you want me to go?
I got Georgia Bulldogs on that game as well.
Okay. Well, I'll be the one. I'm going with
Ole
Ole
Miss?
Miss? Okay.
I'm going with Ole Miss.
Nah,
I got
bro.
Ole Miss.
I
All
got
right,
the
Texas-
bye
Texas
week
A&M
over
bye
Texas
week.
A&M. I got the bye week.
That's
All right.
messed up.
All right, Colorado against Texas Tech. Red
Yeah.
Raiders.
You already know I'm not giving up on my guys. You know where I'm at. You can go ahead and go past that one.
Okay, got you, Scott.
Yes, yeah.
And then I'm, of course, for Colorado. Who you got, Matt?
Colorado.
Okay. And who did Al pick?
Colorado.
Oh, did he?
You better not have.
He
You
did.
better
He
not
said he
have.
picked- I'm telling you, Ty, when you pick yours, you can say Al too from here on out.
That's cheap,
Oh,
Al.
so now he's on the wagon. Now he's on the. Okay, I see what we're doing.
And
here.
he has been like losing a lot of weight on the toilet today, so he might just be out of his
He's not thinking.
cognitive abilities a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's all good. All right, Kentucky's on the bye. They need it this week. They're a little bit beat up. Next game, Air Force and Fresno State.
I'm going with the. Oh man,
Who you got, Scott?
Oh man, as much. Let's see here. Fresno
Damn, y'all.
State Bulldogs.
Trying to
Well,
steal five
give
pairs.
me the Air Force, man.
You going Air Force?
Give me the Air Force.
What you got, Matt?
I'm going Fresno State because Blake went Air Force.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pick real quick. I'd already written it down. I have Fresno State as well.
All right.
Who does Al have?
Fresno State.
Okay.
I'm the only Air Force. Fly high Air Force. You
I'm
got
sorry, you're probably going to lose that game, Scott. Sorry, brother.
most likely, but I got to give it a chance.
Hey,
All
either way it went, dude. I was picking opposite
Yeah.
Scott. I gotta keep that.
I got to break
separation
away.
to
Yeah.
allow him to get closer. One of the two, man.
Okay, here's a big game. Number 18. They were at number 18 in the poll AP, but I think they're number 20 in like the BCS now. But Army Golden Knights versus North Texas Mean Green. Who you got, Matt?
They're the Army. So who do you got?
Okay, I've got the Army.
So does Al.
Okay,
And so does Matt. Those North Texas and Denton, that Mean Green is about to be stinky green. Army's gonna beat the doors off them dudes.
Yes, sir.
hey Trinity Jaden, that's my daughter. Hey, what's up, Scarface?
Hey, what's up, Trinity?
What's up, Trinity? Thanks for watching, baby girl.
Yeah.
And then who do you have, Scott? Army.
Army Golden Knights.
Okay.
Hey, she got Kentucky in the bye week. Write that down.
Kentucky in the bye week. That's what I'm talking about. Trinity was born in Kentucky.
Nice.
She was born right there on Fort Campbell. She's got an air assault coin. Yeah. Navy versus South Florida Bulls.
N A
Two Navy distinguished gentlemen go first.
Navy.
Navy.
Okay.
Screw Al and go South Florida. Please do it.
Who you got, Scott?
You already know. N A
Okay.
V Y. We're Navy. We're Navy. We're Navy all the way. Who's pride?
Huge pride. There
Yeah.
you go.
Who's Al got?
Whoever you got.
Seriously?
Yes.
Okay, I chose South Florida.
All right. Thank you.
Man.
Hey, it's not out of the realm for Al to pick against his alma mater, the United States Navy. He does it quite often. So, yeah, there's that.
It's terrible, though. I feel bad doing it.
Look at Carmona. USF Go Bulls. That's bullshit. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Man. Woo. I just got to hold on, man. Ooh. Yo.
What's that?
Remind me when I got to tell you guys something real quick. I just got a message that's actually pretty sweet. So,
Like when we get off air?
yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, I'm ready then. This has been a fun show then. Let's do
Yeah.
it, Scott.
All right. Well, you know what it is. We've been in the room with my man today. Great guy all around. We've also been in the room with the crew, with the chat. I see Grant. I see Will. I see Bob. I seen who all I saw today. I saw a bunch of people in there today. Bob was very active with us today. I appreciate that.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I see Amber was in here with us as well. You know what I mean? everybody. You know, I know some of you guys watch it later, and it's a big election going on right now. They're counting things, so I know it's hard for you guys to concentrate because there's a lot on the line and a lot of, you know, everybody's got their view. But you still are here with us, and we appreciate you. And if you know anybody who knows somebody, tell them to like, follow, subscribe to Triple Threat Vet Podcast. If you know of any resources that can help veterans, please let us know so we can help you push that out to the world, because we are sincere about having conversations and helping our veterans out there. And we appreciate you, and we can't do it by ourselves. We need your help. But this is a Triple Threat Vet Podcast. I am your man, DJ Royalty. And in the building, you have my man, Matt Johnson, and Ty Cobb. Al is out and about. I think he's under the weather today. So well wishes to my brother Al, and we'll see you next week, my pal. But I'm going to bring my guys back in so we can wax poetic one more time before we go. Big Matt, what you got for us, brother?
Nothing, man. Remember, if we all work together, we can help the veterans and first responders get through their shit. That's what's most important. Number two, I still have it out there. Elon, your cousin. I know your mom's cool as shit too. I've seen her on the news lately. If y'all just want to donate and get some tax write-offs, we need a podcast studio. Also, Christmas is coming up, y'all. It's about to be November, Thanksgiving, right? So sameflagsameoath.com. Get your merch, get your Christmas presents, support nonprofits, support a veteran-owned business. And until next week, we love you guys. We'll see you then. Love you, Becky. Love you, Sierra. Love you, Cole. See you guys next week.
Yes, yes. And to my man, my brother from another mother, like no other, it's the big dog Ty. Where you at? You that guy. Yeah, we in the house doing this live. Wax poetic one time before we go. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast Show. So I'm about to pass the mic one time to Ty. And I don't need no answers because y'all know why. This my guy. Hey.
At some point, we're going to end up having to have MC Kool-Aid on this show. One of my brothers, Sean Tibbetts from Jacksonville, because I have absolutely no spitting ability, but he does. So whenever we need like a stunt rap coming in from me, then we'll just stunt rap him in.
There you go.
I mean, every week we learn some new things from some new people. We like spreading the word, and I love what we're getting from the audience, that you like what we're doing here. We like the interaction. Hey, let somebody know. Let's get some conversations started. Maybe they'll go back and watch some previous episodes, and they'll see something that is going to help them live a better, more productive life in the future. So, hey, keep watching. Every Tuesday, we'll be here at 7 p.m. We'll talk to you soon.
There it is. All right, like always, may your next day be your best day. You guys stay blessed. Stay here. Get up and do something positive. We need you. Like I say, somebody's looking for your ass to be here tomorrow. You get your ass up and be there. All right? Because we're going to be here waiting for you. This is a Triple Threat Vet Podcast. I'm your man, DJ Royalty. And until next Tuesday, y'all come on back. All right? Peace, y'all.